gotta get up, keep going. I done been knocked down 1,000 times, yeah, traveling around 1,000 miles for the summertime, but you know I can't stop now, can't wait too soon. Throw in the towel, it ain't looking real good, but I won't give up. Pac said that I gotta keep my head up, so I ain't going nowhere, yeah, I'm standing right here. Demons all around, but I ain't got no fear. But it's rooted deep behind my feet, the underdog, and I won't be beat. In the fire now, but I won't be burned. I was waiting for this, and now it's my turn. Spit out my face, blood in my eyes. Been underground, now I aim for the sky. Don't quit now, you can last longer. All these wounds only making you stronger. Don't give up now, yeah, you gotta climb. But we give it your all.
If it's Monday, it's time for the UD Awards National Series presented by Slingshot Racing League. My name is Johnny Rapp alongside Dustin Bawley in the Slingshot TV booth. Tonight we head to Portland International Raceway for race number 6 of the season, the City Grand Prix. Located in Portland, Oregon, Portland International Raceway is a historic 1.9-mile, 12-turn road course that hosts a wide variety of racing and other events throughout the year. Known for its fast, high-energy layout, PIR is a familiar stop for major American motorsports series, including IndyCar and the NASCAR Xfinity Series, on top of being a hotspot for numerous amateur and local racing events. Tonight, the drivers of the UD Awards National Series look to keep it on the track and will have to use precision to stay up front and claim victory. 35 laps are on the board tonight with 2 extra sets of tires and potentially enough fuel to make it all the way to the end. The final road course race of the season is sure to be an action-packed door-to-door showdown, but before we set the grid, it's time to step trackside for everybody's favorite pre-race tradition, the playing of the national anthem. Alright, we are back live from Portland International Raceway alongside Dustin Bawley here. Before we set the grid here, we have to go trackside for our pre-race stories, starting off with our point standings. After 3 consecutive wins, Braxton DeWeese holding a strong lead over last year's champion Christopher Smith. Rye Jones with that first win, winning the first race of the season, holding on to third right now, but looks like maybe missing the race here again tonight, so I would expect that 91 to drop like a rock. And we got some very consistent finishers up here: Ellis Thomas, Matt Kuntz, James Danforth holding out the top 6. And man, look at this battle for 8th place through 11th, really, all separated by just about 10 points.
Yeah, Johnny, things are looking really tight there, from 7th on back. I'm excited for this this first place battle here. You got Braxton DeWeese and Chris Smith, who's not too far behind, and they are covered by less than 1/10 of a second here in qualifying. So this is going to be a real fun one to watch tonight here.
Absolutely. Moving on from that, we're going to go into our pre-race stories here. Starting off with track position. You were just talking about qualifying there, and it's very important to start up front. Tell us a bit. Hey, you have some road course experience here. How important is it to start up front for one of these races?
Yeah, Johnny, track position at these type of tracks is everything. Portland is not the easiest track to pass on. You kind of have a passing opportunity in turn 1, but you're going so fast, that braking zone, you really have to widen it out, and it makes passing kind of difficult. You have another shot there going down into turns 10, 11, 12 there, but not really a lot of passing opportunities. You got to get right on the bumper of the guy in front of you and hope that they make a mistake. So track position's everything. You're going to see a lot of guys, I think, coming into the green flag trying to get as many spots as they can off the first corner, because that's going to be the best shot at making a pass.
Yeah, you said it can be very chaotic going through that first turn. I know, I've been sent 3 and 4 wide in there before, and I think we're going to see that tonight, but hopefully they can keep it together and manage to get through that turn and off into that carousel. Perfecting pit road, it's one thing, hey, I struggle with it, I will admit, but we are expecting a pit stop tonight, and yeah, it's all, you got to practice that entry. You got to get it down, not speed, and be able to get out of the pits as fast as possible. Also includes, tire strategies. Do you take tires? Do you go fuel only? We'll have to really keep an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Grand Meister at these road courses obviously is Aaron Smith. And Aaron Smith, I don't know in a race this long if he would want to take tires. Usually in my series, where we run a little bit shorter distance, he says, no, I don't want the tires. Just as long as you don't overheat them, you're going to be fine. So I think some people are going to take them, some people aren't. We'll see if the winning strategy involves taking tires or not. We'll have to see.
Absolutely, and you just brought up Aaron Smith. He is not here tonight, but would most definitely be considered a road ringer. We do have a few of them in the field here tonight, and it's something to watch. We got guys like Devin Jack, who won our first road course of the season at Lime Rock, and Chase Berry's put in some solid work here. Chris Smith, certain people that are just kind of naturally good at these road courses.
Yeah, I think my eyes are on Devin Jack. I think Chris Smith and DeWeese are going to maybe be playing a little bit more conservative than Devin, because they are going for a championship, and I think the risk factor that they're willing to do here tonight is probably not going to be as much as Devin. So I think Devin may be a little more aggressive, and we'll see if Devin gets to the front. But I think that top 3 is going to be really close. You got Jacob Phillips right there. I mean, what a run he had with a 13.7. So he's not far off the pace at all. And then you got Ellis Thomas, Laura Wiseman, Chase Berry. All these drivers they're all hungry for something. So we'll see who can get to the front.
Yes, we will, and we do have just a moment here still to, hey, now it's a good time to plug what you got going on here, and we appreciate you coming over and filling in for Justin this week, but Dustin Bawley is the owner of the Road and Plate Palm Rack Golf Series, which runs these ARCA cars on road courses and plate tracks. Tell us a little bit about your league.
Yeah, well, it's just as you said, road and plate. We run road courses and plate tracks. This week, coming up on Thursday, we actually have our wild card. We have the non-road and plate track. We have Pocono Legacy on Thursday night. So if anyone's interested, come check us out on JCTV. But other than that, yeah, we run 2 races a night. We run a 15-minute sprint. We flip the top 10 because we don't want one person, Aaron Smith, to be dominating the whole night. And so we make the sprint runner come all the way back from 10th place to try and make it in the future. But it's a lot of fun. We got a lot of good group of drivers. So come check us out if you're interested in watching stock cars and road courses.
It's absolutely a blast. And now it is time for our pre-race grid. As soon as I get this loaded up here, we're gonna start out with our pole sitter tonight, the winner of the Evan Kenta Designs Pole Award, Chris Smith, last year's champion, showing some serious speed on the road course here tonight with Braxton Deweese, a 3-time winner this season, looking to make it 4 here at Portland. We got Devin Jack, that road ringer, so to speak, starting 3rd place in that number 94 with Jacob Phillips starting 4th. Ellis Thomas in 38, Mr. Consistency this year, starting 5th place with Laura Wiseman, one of those road and plate drivers, bringing it out in 6th. And we got Chase Berry and James Danforth, 7th and 8th here with Lee Campbell and Randy Gross rounding out the top 10.
All right, P11, you got Aiden Neese in the 45 and Robert Brobst in the number 5 Kellogg's machine. In row 7, you got the 60 of Steve Vest in the Lowe's. I think that's a Toyota. It might be a Chevy. And then Patrick O'Toole in the 44. And then on row 8, you have Nick DeCesare and Paul Thomas rounding out the grid tonight.
A stacked field for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how these drivers work their way through this first turn, first and foremost. We do have a full pace lap here, so I think we might be able to grab a word with somebody really fast. Let's see if we got anybody in here that we could talk to. Let's bring up Robert Probst.
Hey Robert, it's Dustin and Johnny up in the booth. You got us?
I hear you.
How are you feeling after qualifying?
Like I should have, actually updated iRacing and got on earlier.
Well, you're in P12. You're kind of in the middle of the pack. I think if there's some calamity going into the first couple of corners, you can certainly take advantage. Are you going to be playing it safe, watching your tires, or are you just going to try and go for it as early as you can?
I'm here to survive and get as good a result as I can. I'm just hoping to finish.
All right, Robert. Well, you're in P9 in the points. You got Chase Berry and DeCesare ahead of you. So hopefully you're in that tight battle we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, where 6th through 11th are covered by about 20 points. So I think it's going to be a exciting end of the season here. Any shout outs you want to give before we let you go?
No, not really. Got to give Brian a shout out. Him and his wife, they just had their kid on Wednesday last week. That's why he's not here tonight, besides it being a road course.
All right. Well, good luck, Robert.
All right. Yeah.
Here we go. Coming to take the green, Chris Smith and Braxton Deweese are going to lead us down the front straightaway.
We are almost there. We are green here at Portland. Chris Smith got a good jump. Deweese is hanging right with him, though. Field storms down the front stretch into turn 1. Everything clean so far. It looks like the 45 might be taking a look in the inside. Got one car over the curb. That's James Danforth in 88.
Yeah, pretty clean through turn 1 there. Definitely good to see. A couple cars off track. Danforth able to gather it back up. He's in P9 here, battling with Aiden Neese. Up front right now, Chris Smith with that great jump out to a pretty handy lead over Braxton Deweese, and a little bit of a pack here with Devin Jack, Jacob Phillips, and Ellis Thomas, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, Chris Smith has done what he needed to do, and he's maintaining a pretty consistent gap there. The gap between him and Deweese is about pretty even with the gap between Deweese and Jack, so we'll see how these drivers fan out here, but everything looks pretty clean so far. Everyone's done a good job.
Yeah, we see the 31 of Randy Gross out in the grass there. Kind of gathers it up. Chris Smith completely sideways into the last corner here. Braxton Deweese is going to have a run.
He got really loose, and Deweese taking full advantage all over Chris Smith's bumper as they head down in the front stretch again.
Yeah, what a great recovery there. Good job by Braxton, allowing him to gather that up without becoming a bigger incident. He's going to concede for now and kind of mount that charge again. Single file right now in the top 5.
I'll tell you what that did is that brought Devin Jack way closer to these guys than they were. They had kind of, after the start, pulled out a bit of a gap, and we're pulling away from Devin a little bit. Now Devin's all over the back of Braxton Deweese. He wants a piece of this battle.
Yeah, Devin Jack minding his P's and Q's right now. We see there's already quite a bit of dirt on the track from some of those off tracks. It definitely makes it handle a little bit different, a little bit harder to put the power down. But yeah, we see coming down this long sweeping backstretch, Devin Jack is holding third, losing a little bit of ground to Braxton right now.
I'll tell you what, who I'm impressed with is Laura Wiseman. Laura Wiseman held on to her 6th spot. We are still... 1st through 7th has been exactly as they qualified. Now, Aiden Neese actually jumped up from the 11th starting spot up to 8th position. So Aiden having a good run so far in the 45. Now, he was one of those drivers that did go for a move there in the first corner. That's what I talked about in the pre-race, that you were going to see some drivers knowing that they, that's going to be one of their best passing opportunities, make that move, and it's paid off for Aiden Neese.
Yeah, Aiden Neese making his inaugural start of the season. Halfway through here, we've seen him in the ARCA series and the late models before. But, yeah, definitely, hey, coming out here strong. Top 10 performance so far. We see he got a little loose there going into, I believe it's turn 3, right? But, yeah, still solid run from Aiden.
Yep. All right, so the battle I'm watching here is you got Chase Berry kind of making some inroads into Laura Wiseman. And further up, it looks like Devin Jack is starting to figure out Braxton Deweese. Devin sees the 28 of Chris Smith starting to pull away and knows that he's got maybe a little something that these two ahead of him don't. And so the sooner he sees Chris pull away, I think the more aggressive he's going to get. I talked about it again. I think that Devin's going to be a little more aggressive than these two guys in front. So these two guys, you might not see the cars dancing around as much as maybe Devin. Devin might be letting the back slide out a little bit, try and get that extra grip into the corner, and then that better exit off.
Oh, Jacob Phillips.
Yeah, he did a ice skating turn there into the turn 1, but tell you what, he was able to gather it up. Didn't lose too much time to Ellis Thomas, although Ellis Thomas is now probably going to see this as a passing opportunity if Jacob does that again.
Yeah, definitely quite a moment there. Good job gathering it up. And yeah, Ellis Thomas is all over the back bumper of that number 56, trying to make that move for 4th place. See if he's able to do it. He kind of peeks his nose there, but not quite enough room to get it done.
Yeah, I think his best bet's going to be to try and get on the bumper of that 56 and try and force him into another mistake. Obviously, he saw that he did it the last lap. So I think he'll see that, if that happens again, he needs to be close enough that he can pounce and take advantage.
Yeah, 56, Jacob Phillips recovered pretty well from that, and that did kind of slow down both of those cars and allowed Laura Wiseman to get right back up onto Ellis's bumper here. On board with Laura down into turn 1, you can really see just how violent it is getting into this corner. You got to hop the curbs, and man, the thing gets sideways. You got to really mind the throttle out of that chicane coming down this little straightaway.
Yeah, a little wiggle there from Ellis. Now Ellis is probably maybe overdriving the car a little bit. All these drivers, when you drive these road courses, you kind of figure out a baseline of what you are comfortable doing with the car. That for some drivers that baseline's a lot higher than others. You think of the Aaron Smiths and in my league, Brian Molitor and some of these other drivers, Michael McCoy, who are just insanely quick. But a lot of us mere mortals, you can only do so much with the car before it starts to get uneasy. and you can see these drivers when they have to get outside their comfort zone. If they're in a pursuing position, Ellis Thomas obviously is trying to get closer to Jacob Phillips, and as he does that, he's going to have to kind of go outside his comfort zone. You see him right there, the back of his car slides out a bit, and Laura Wiseman's able to take position. So maybe Laura's baseline is just a little bit better than him. Laura's about to go for the 5th spot here going into turn 1.
Yeah, that little bit of a mistake from Ellis opened the door, and Laura's going to, slide right on through. Put Laura Wiseman up to 5th place. Chase Barry's still tagging along here back in 7th. Up front, the battle looks the same. Chris Smith pulling out to about a 1.7 second lead. Devin Jack still stalking the number 8 of Braxton Deweese for 2nd place here. And they have, about 2 seconds over that battle we were just watching with Jacob Phillips and Ellis Thomas.
That battle now, Laura Wiseman, we're going to see if she can get close to Phillips here. I tell you what, Phillips is having a great run. Phillips, I knew he's a good driver, but I mean, to be hanging on to 4th spot, not too far off Devin Jack, who is a, multiple-time road course race winner. It's an impressive run for the 56.
Yeah, definitely. So, he's put some time into these road courses. I know he is a teammate of mine, and he has he's been talking about it. He's tired of doing the road courses because it seems like we've just been doing nothing but road courses. But definitely a lot of work that goes into this, and he's putting on a show here. Chase Barry into the wall, trying to pass Ellis Thomas back here for 7th.
Taking another look here at the 45. Yeah, he put that nose in, and I just don't think he lost the rear end. I was going to say, he did a good job to avoid the 38, but yeah, hopefully he can keep going. But yeah, definitely some momentum lost there with that wall hit.
Yeah, and you can see he's trying to make up for it now. That thing is sideways all over the place. And definitely got to cool those tires down to mount another charge here. Got a little bit of a battle going on, looks like, back here for 9th place. James Danforth has called Robert Probst as we see Robert completely sideways. It seems to be a common trend here tonight.
Yeah, that 88 machine, after some trouble at the start, has found his footing and is in pursuit of that 5 Kellogg's machine. See if he can make some inroads. The last lap, James did a 15.059, and Robert was only a 15.548. So 88 definitely making some inroads into that 5.
Yeah, Danforth's had a pretty solid season here. I think he got a pretty good finish there last week, right? At last race at Daytona. No, I'm thinking of Iowa, I think.
Yeah, we're at Vegas last week.
Yeah. Maybe it was.
Yeah, so yep. Danforth did finish 5th after starting 6th at Vegas. So yeah, good solid run for the 88 car. I'm looking at our lap times, Johnny. Sorry, go ahead.
I got a little bit of a problem for Aiden East there. He went off track a little bit. He lost 2 spots, and now he's going to be right behind Danforth. You can get what you had.
I was looking at our lap times here, and I tell you what, our top 4 are all within about a 1/10 of a second. You have 13.8, 13.9, 13.7, 13.8. So this top 4, even though they do look strung out on track, they are all running on an absolute knife edge altogether. So I think that as this race goes on, hopefully we'll see those gaps close up a little bit. I think it's hard. It's obviously easier to pursue than to lead because when you're pursuing a car, you can use them as a gauge and maybe brake just a little bit later than them, get out of the corner better. But when you're leading these road course races, it's actually kind of hard, I think, to be consistent. So, and you also don't really have a barometer of your progress. So it looks like the gap between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and almost even 4th for that matter is pretty even.
Yeah, we can get a little bit of a battle box here for 2nd place from Braxton Deweese ahead to Chris Smith. See, similar pace as you were saying. See, he's just about 2 seconds behind, getting a little bit coming down this backstretch into the final couple turns. Actually gaining a lot. That was up, 0.3 of a second, but he's going to lose it coming through the last turn a little bit.
Yeah, and then Devin only did a 15 flat his last lap, so he must have made a mistake. 14.0, so Chris Smith's still pretty consistent. 14.0 for Braxton and 13.90. I mean, they're all so unbelievably close. This is a fantastic race we have on our hands. Oh, Devin gets sideways coming out of the chicane. But you can tell he's trying. That's again what I alluded to. I think he's gonna start to push a little bit harder, and I think that, you know, as these tires wear in these ARCA cars, you know, they don't wear much, but it's definitely a different style of driving that you have to do, you know, 15 laps into a run versus the very beginning. You can kind of punch it and beat on it a little bit, but if you're beating on it for 10, 15 laps, the car is not going to be where you want it to be in the middle of the run. So I think that this is definitely a race that maybe will come to Devin, but we'll have to see how these front two do. And again, they're all running so close, and I think it's too early really to tell you know, who's going to have the advantage later on. I tell you, they pulled out a big gap over Jacob Phillips, though. The gap between Devin and Chris, I still think, is about 2 to 3 seconds, and it's another 3 seconds back to Jacob. So top three kind of starting to pull away and be in a class of their own.
Absolutely. Definitely some great consistency from them, those top three. And Jacob Phillips falling off a little bit, and Laura Wiseman in tow about a second and a half behind Jacob. Ellis Thomas still up here in the fight for 5th place. And then there is a huge gap back to Robert Brooks. We saw Aiden East go off track, and then also a spin into turn one. Almost hit the inside wall, but he was able to keep it going. This battle has tightened up a little bit. We have a couple newcomers in here. We have Lee Campbell in number 14 entering the chat here, as well as Nick DeCesare in that 00.
And these drivers all really close together there, down for looks like P7, 8, 9, 10. They're all running really close. And Robert maybe starting to form a little train here, so I think that Danforth's patience here is probably going to start to wear thin pretty soon here. He's already made huge inroads into the 5. I think he's, you know, if you go 3 or 4 laps without the driver in front making a mistake, then you're going to start to get a little over aggressive and maybe force the issue there.
Yeah, you can see that number 5 is sideways just about every corner.
Whoa!
Riding on board here.
Robert was totally sideways going into turn 10.
And we see Danforth.
He gathered it up.
He does the same thing coming out of the final corner. And man, this is an exciting battle here. It might only be for 7th place, but these guys are getting after it.
Oh, yeah, and they're trying so hard. You know, it doesn't matter if you're racing for 1st or if you're racing for 15th. When you're in these cars, all you're worried about is the guy in front of you. You're not worried about the position you're in. You're just trying to get past the guy ahead of you. So Robert is the chum and they are the sharks, trying to catch their prey. And although it looks like Danforth's now under heavy attack from that 14 of Lee Campbell, and Nick Cesare right there as well.
Yeah, you can throw these 4 cars under a blanket, and they're drifting while they're doing it, all within just a couple tenths of a second of each other. Robert goes a little wide there. Man, we see him drifting once again. That's going to open the door for Danforth to maybe get a little bit of a run coming down this backstretch.
Yeah, and you can see that rear end of that 5 step out. So what Robert's doing is is getting on the throttle too quickly. With these stock cars, you can't just punch it like you can in your road car. These things have, 700 or 600 horsepower, whatever it is. And you put the power down, like you're just flooring it in a road car, and your back end's going to completely step out. So you really needs to be smoother with that throttle. James Danforth obviously got a better run there out of that last corner, and he's going to go for that 7th spot here. Makes the clean pass. All 4 of them are through cleanly. Whoa, Robert again! Back end totally stepped out of line. And now DeCesare's all over the 14 there, going to try and make the same move that Danforth just did to Robert.
Yeah, this is some exciting stuff back here. Man, that 5 is definitely, he's using up those rear tires as much as he can. You see him kind of slipping, missing the middle of the corner there. And yeah, I mean, hey, it's opening the door for Lee Campbell to make a move into the hairpin here, but not quite close enough. Right now, right behind him, Nick DeCesare, who is up 5 spots. That is tied, or actually right now he would be the biggest mover of the race. So great run from him.
Yeah, I'm checking out our front runners again, and it looks like Devin Jack has fallen off. So we got Braxton's about 3 seconds behind Chris Smith. Devin just did a 14.6, so he was almost a second slower than the leader, so something must have happened. But yeah, he's about 6 seconds, I think, behind right now. So Chris Smith is making life difficult for the 8 and the 94 for their victory hopes tonight. But still a lot of laps to go. But Chris Smith definitely has consolidated his position at the front of his field here.
He absolutely has, and yeah, we still do expect to see pit stops. I would assume that they'll be coming within maybe the next 6 to 7 laps, somewhere around halfway. That's where I would pit anyway if I was out here, but yeah, we'll see. We see Chris has led all 13, coming 14 laps so far, and putting on a clinic here.
Yep. I'm going back to this battle here with Danforth and Robert Probst. Danforth, oh, he's sideways. Oh, he just lost it. Danforth was trying to block the 5, and the back end got totally loose. And now you have the 14 and the 5 side by side going into the turn 10 there. Robert holds the position. Campbell there and Cesare are doing their best to stay with him and try and make a move. But yeah, I don't know if we can pull up a replay there, Johnny, of that 88 getting sideways.
Yeah, we'll go back and try to get a good look at what exactly happened here. We saw he had a pretty good gap. We're gonna maybe fast forward it just a little bit. I think I went too far back, but yeah, coming out. Yeah, gets out into the grass.
Out of the grass and the hairpin. Yeah, and so he's trying to get the power down. He sees Robert coming, and he sees Robert going to the inside, and he just loses it. I don't think there was any contact. I think he just lost control of the back end. So maybe some of that dust and debris from when he went off in that previous corner just didn't have the grip, and he loses 4 positions.
An excellent job saving that car in the grass, though. Definitely could have been a lot worse if he didn't get that thing to turn back right. That could have been a night-ending wreck into that outside wall. But yeah, for now, that's going to allow Robert back into that 7th position, and he's pulled away a little bit now from Lee Campbell.
Yeah, and Robert holding a good 7th position after starting 12th. So I'm sure that if we had asked him, would you be happy with a top 7 position pre-race based on how he sounded, I think he'd be pretty happy.
Absolutely.
See if we have any more battles going on up here. I feel like Devin is making some inroads into Braxton DeWeese. Devin is still hovering around 3 seconds, I guess, behind DeWeese and 6 seconds behind the leader. But yeah, again, all these guys are so close. Chris Smith, Braxton DeWeese both ran a 14.1. Last time by, Devin Jack ran a 13.98. So Devin, even when he can be quicker than these guys, it's only by like a 10th or 2. And then when he's off, he's losing half a second and a second. So unless your opponents make mistakes, it's just so hard to claw back globs of time. It's very easy to lose it. It's kind of reminds you of iRating. You know, when you're doing officials, it's so easy to lose a lot, and it's so hard to gain a little.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's all about consistency. And yeah, I mean, you could be like Devin Jack right now, putting down really fast times, but if you're losing that much on the other end of it, it's I mean, that's why you see he is where he is. We got a little bit of a battle here. Looks like Randy Gross just got passed by Aiden Neese, and maybe some issues for Robert. Robert's going to come into the pits. He's going to be one of our first drivers on pit road. Looks like Laura Wiseman in the number 84 is also coming down pit road.
Laura's already gone, so I don't know. I'm going to see if she took tires. She did not, so Laura just came in for fuel and is on her way. This might be one of those circuits where I think the race is so long that I might take left side tires just because it's a clockwise turning circuit, and The time penalty for taking tires usually is only about 2.5 seconds or so, so you're not losing that much time. But we'll see if anyone else adopts that strategy. Let's see if Robert took tires during his pit stop. He just overshot the turn 1 there. Looks like Robert did not take any tires. He just took fuel. So
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like maybe an issue for Braxton DeWeese. He's I don't think he pitted, and he's dropped back to 4th place here. We're gonna have to maybe try to go back and find out if something happened here.
almost looked like a glitch. He was real slow through the middle section, and then it looked like the car actually disappeared and then reappeared. I think it might have been a connection issue on his end, but he's back on now, and he's humming along at full steam, but he is now behind the 56 of Jacob Phillips. So an unfortunate technical issue for the 8. Hopefully that is the end of his technical woes for tonight.
Yeah, definitely very odd. Maybe some type of hardware issue or something. But yeah, I mean, it's man, that's great for Devin Jack. He just got handed 2nd place, and he's got 5 seconds back right now to 3rd place, Jacob Phillips.
He's still 7.5 seconds though behind your race leader, so he's gonna have to figure out something. But yeah, weird for DeWeese, and that's kind of one of those things that I don't, you see people blink sometimes, but usually when they're blinking, they don't slow down. So it was weird to see him come to almost a complete stop, and then the car to blink out, and then it came back in. So yeah, obviously a technical issue of some sort. Maybe we'll have a chance to interview him at the end of the race if he can get by this 56. But yeah, 56 in a good spot now for a podium position. We'll see if he can hold it here to the end.
A little bit of a battle back here. Laura Wiseman, James Danforth, and who's that in front of them? Yeah, Aiden Neese. Laura has already pitted. James Danforth and Neese have yet to pit. So definitely Laura's just hoping right now, like, can I get by these guys so I don't lose too much track position to the cars I was racing before the pit stop. But yeah, it's going to be hard to do. We've seen this 45 and the 88. They've been really strong here tonight, so it's going to be hard pass to make.
Yeah, and I think for this battle here with the 84, the 88, and the 45, the driver who's going to benefit is Ellis Thomas, because Ellis Thomas was behind Wiseman prior to the pit stop. And so if this 45 and 88 are holding up Laura for a number of laps, and you see the back of her car sliding out there, Ellis is definitely going to be capitalizing. So Ellis might be one of those drivers who just stays out as long as he can and then makes a late stop for fuel. And what that late fuel stop is going to do is that allows you to spend less time in the pits. And so you actually have a shorter pit stop than these drivers who pitted early. So yeah, some strategy games playing out here. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, while this settles down a little bit, we're going to move back and we'll highlight some of the drivers a little bit further back here. Also note that I just now realized that Chase Berry and Patrick O'Toole have disconnected. I don't know if there was an issue for Chase. I know he was running up in the top 10. Then maybe that damage from when he hit the inside wall was too much. But yeah, back here in 12th place. Currently just 1 lap down is Steve Vest and Randy Gross, who had some issues earlier going through the grass. Looks like he did pit, and he lost a lap doing so, but we'll see if that cycles back through and puts him on the lead lap. We got Paul Thomas right here, pretty clean racing at number 42, running in P14 right now.
So sorry, Johnny, on the beginning of lap 20, Aiden Neese went sideways into turn 1, smacked the inside wall, and did a tow back to the pit lane. So Aiden Neese was involved in that battle with Danforth and Wiseman. Aiden Neese still in the pits now. Actually, Aiden Neese appears to have disconnected, so I guess that impact with the inside wall was race ending, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looked like it might have broke the right front. It was something he was talking about at pre-race a little bit. He said he's like a magnet to that inside wall in turn 1, and hey, he was right. He almost hit it earlier. That time he was not so lucky, and that's going to be a race ender for Aiden. Hate to say it, it was good to have him back out here, but have to regroup and get after it next week.
Yep. So back to our race leader, Chris Smith, who now appears to have well, I guess that gap is staying about the same, 7.5 seconds, but I think that's a pretty commanding lead in a road race here. Chris, sees that, and unless that starts to really come down, by a half second a lap, he can just cruise. So it's really up to Devin to try and find some extra pace there in that 94, see if he can close the gap at all. But yeah, at this point, you're just, I guess, trying to keep it on the road and, maybe hope for a caution. I don't know. I guess on these road courses, I know this league probably doesn't throw cautions. And especially with the cars so spread out, you're not going to have an incident where it's going to be blocking the track or have multiple cars involved. So we'll just have to see. It's Chris Smith's race to lose, and he's just got to keep it on the island.
Absolutely, yeah. Keep it between the ditches, right? And
yeah,
no
exactly.
One thing that I'm noting is he is catching Robert Probst, and is that Steve Vett? No, I'm not sure who else that is.
It's
Paul Thomas.
That's the 42 of Paul Thomas, yeah. So Paul and Robert, and I don't think that they are actually battling. Paul is a lap behind Robert, I believe. No, they are on the same lap. Timing's playing tricks on me, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think Paul Paul's going to let the 28 go. He gives the 28 a lot of room. So good there on Paul to let that extra surge of power go through. And we'll see if, Robert's kind of wiggling there in the dirt. But I'm sure he'll give the same respect to the 28 so that the 42 and the 5 can continue the battle. Now I'm looking at my timing. I think Paul was another lap behind Robert. So
yeah, right now Robert is fighting to stay on the lead lap. But yeah, now if you're Chris Smith right here coming through and you got some lap cars, but some fairly competitive ones up ahead of you, is that your call to pit? Maybe I don't want to deal with this. It's going to slow me down. Maybe I pit now and try to avoid that battle.
I think it's a time thing. I think if you're stuck behind a car for more than a lap, I don't think he's stuck. He's going to be stuck behind Robert for too long. And he's actually using Robert as a tow right now, so it's actually not costing him anything. But if you're on the bumper of a guy for more than a lap and you're in a tight battle, I think it might be something to consider. But yeah, Robert moves out of the way there, obviously in turn 1, and lets Chris by. But Chris has a 7.5 second lead. Even if he was to lose 3 seconds, I don't think it's something that he would worry about. And then also, that the guy pursuing you, Devin Jack, is going to have to deal with the same lap traffic at some point. So when you have a big gap to your second place person, you're not too worried about it.
It's very true. We're watching Devin Jack down pit road now. It looks like he is going to opt for left side tires. And he's going to be out there. He's going to have at least one lap. Definitely a little bit too much of a gap to overcome with fresh tires. But he's, he's reset, and he's going to get after it, see if he can put together some good laps and potentially fight for the lead here. A little bit of a battle. 7th place here. James Danforth misses turn 1 a little bit. Laura Wiseman is going to just pull away now.
Yeah, Wiseman's done a good job. She's up to 7th place, and there are 5 drivers ahead of her who haven't pitted. So I think Laura, before the cycle, was running in that P5 spot, and I think, assuming she can keep making progress, that she will hopefully return to that spot. We'll have to see when these drivers pit. You have the 5 of the top 6 drivers are all on 25 laps of their run. So we'll have to see when that fuel starts to run out. But yeah, looking good run here for Laura Wiseman.
Absolutely.
Oh, Danforth slides off the road behind her. I mean, he's in for the pit, so maybe he was slowing down for his pit stop.
Yeah, he gathers it up, gets to pit road, and yeah, we see Steve Vest in pit road as well. It's going to, that's going to be pretty much the last one on the lead lap outside of the top 4 that hasn't pitted.
Yeah, we'll
We
have
do
to see
a
when
few
Chris.
people in the chat here. We have Dirt Monkey Matt saying, "Let's go Pit A Racing, go get him Phillips." We have Al Ferreria, or I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Also rooting on 56. Really, they are all rooting on 56 of Jacob Phillips right now. Right now, second place, still yet to pit, but a solid run from that number 56. And we had somebody asking if this is AI or real drivers. These are real drivers. They are that good.
Yeah. AI drivers, I guess, would be kind of fun. But yeah, it's always more fun when you're racing real drivers. I'll tell you what, as someone who is a big fan of iRacing, it's just, once you've done this, for those watching at home, most people have played racing games. Maybe some of the older generation has yet to pick up a controller, but this, once you have raced against real people, you know that there's a real guy on the other end. There's nothing like it. That everything else is just silly, so it really becomes addicting knowing that there is a human at the other end, and that human's going to drive every lap differently. They're gonna make mistakes in some corners, and they're gonna make some laps that are so quick that a computer, the computer cranked up to 110 couldn't even make that lap. So yeah, and these are real drivers. They're all guys in their rigs sitting at home enjoying their pastime, and it's a great hobby.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And hey, there's such a great community around all this too. All the Slingshot drivers, even a lot of the road and plate drivers come over here, and it's yeah, we really do appreciate everybody that comes out here. It's a fun time. Most of us have become friends, and it's yeah, it's still competitive, right? And you want to go out there, you got to put some time in, practice, and get better. And yeah, side by side racing, it's a lot of fun. You kind of know what you can and can't do around certain drivers until you get to know them. It's a whole interesting landscape the sim racing world is.
Yeah, and what's great about these fixed setup races is that everyone's in the same equipment. You don't have to worry about that guy's car is better than mine, or that guy's got an advantage. Everyone's all on an even playing field. It's all down to talent. It's down to muscle memory and hand-eye coordination and hitting your marks and being smooth with the throttle. It's you're not getting beat by better machinery. You're just getting beat by a better guy or driver. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking back here at Randy Gross. Still, we got quite a few cars a lap down. Still waiting on the lead four to pit. And right now, Devin Jack is leading those that have pitted. We'll pull it up over here on the side. You can see how many laps it's been since these drivers have been to pit road. And yeah, I would expect to see drivers like Chris Smith and Jacob Phillips come down pit road fairly soon.
Yeah, Jacob Phillips still within, looks like about 15 seconds or so from the race leader, but a good run here by Phillips tonight. I remember Jack when he pitted, was about 7.5 seconds. So I would, with those left side tires, I'd be interested to see if he made any inroads into the 28. My guess is he's going to be about, assuming he didn't have too much trouble with traffic, would probably be around 5 or 6 seconds. But we're going to see if my prediction comes true here. But Chris Smith still staying out for another lap. He is not in a hurry to go pit anytime soon.
Yeah, clean track ahead of him. Definitely no real urgency to get down pit road until you're about out of fuel. Yeah. Really, you could run it all the way out.
Yeah.
I believe they can go 36 laps on fuel. So
everyone's diving in for fuel. Jacob Phillips is in, Braxton DeWeese is in, Ellis Thomas, and Paul Thomas. You have 4 drivers in the pits right now, so it looked like everyone decided it was time, and maybe they did it with a lap left. So maybe Chris was even saving some fuel if he's going an extra lap past these guys. Yeah, Phillips is already gone, and DeWeese not far behind.
Absolutely.
Oh, here comes Laura Wiseman. Laura Wiseman's gonna pip Ellis Tom. Oh, there's Ellis. Ellis goes to the inside, and here we go. Oh, Laura came out just behind the 38, but I think she's going to try to make a move.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Coming out of the pits side by side, you kind of don't really know until you're almost down to turn one whether or not you're actually going to have to defend that. But yeah, Laura saw what was happening, went a little wide, gave some room, and now she has her sights set on the number 8 of Ellis Thomas.
And 28 is in the pits, so 28 had one more lap of fuel than everybody else. Chris Smith comes into that last pit stall on account of taking the pole position. That was a splash, and it was a splash if I've ever seen one. That car was stopped for about half a second. It's gone. And so Devin Jack, he's still got about a straightaway lead over Devin Jack. So that gap that was 7.5 seconds, I thought it was going to go the other way. It's actually gotten worse for Devin Jack. Devin Jack now about 11 seconds behind the 28. So 28 cementing his dominance on this race. And 94's got about 4 seconds over the 56 of Jacob Phillips.
Yeah, we see that 94 completely sideways through this carousel section here, trying to get everything he can. He's gained about a second since Chris came out of pit road, but yeah, Chris probably just minding his P's and Q's, trying to get his momentum back together. But yeah, maybe lost a little bit in the pits. Could have been some traffic for Devin Jack, but definitely fell back a little bit. And yeah, even Jacob Phillips, I think, kind of closed up a little bit on him. So we'll have to see if he's able to mount a charge for second place.
Yeah, I think the battle to watch going now to the end here is going to be if Braxton DeWeese, your current points leader, can make any inroads onto the 56 of Jacob Phillips. And then behind the 8, you have Laura Wiseman still trying to put pressure on Ellis Thomas for that fifth spot.
Yeah, that seems to be the closest battle on the track right now. And yeah, Ellis kind of pulled away a little bit, but Laura is still in tow, got that draft a little bit. That does affect these cars at this track just a touch, not too much, but yeah, definitely still within striking distance, just a little less than a second behind Ellis.
Yeah, I think, and I'm looking at the point standings, and so the lead that Braxton DeWeese had over Chris Smith was 17 points, and so I know that we get 2 points for a pole position, and we get points for leading the most laps, and I think a fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. So this is going to be a haul of points for the 28 if he can bring it home here, and he's going to make significant inroads into that 17-point lead that DeWeese had coming in.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch to see how that plays out. And yeah, I think you had it right. You know, you've been paying attention. You know, we appreciate that. But yeah, it's going to be, Braxton just needs to hold on right now. Can't lose any more spots. I mean, there's still quite a few races left in the season here, but every point matters, and got to try to get them when you can. So
Absolutely, every point matters. Yeah, I remember I've been involved in a number of championships where the deltas have been single-digit points over a 10, 12 race season. So every point does matter, and you got to fight for all these spots. And sometimes you don't want to. You just want to be safe and try and keep the car on the road. But maybe just pushing a little bit more, try and force an error. The guy ahead of you is going to pay dividends down the road. You just never know.
absolutely right. Riding on board with Braxton right now. Like I said, clean track ahead of him. It makes it a little easier. Don't have to, kind of worry about. Well, it does and it doesn't, because as you were saying earlier, you kind of want that rabbit ahead of you to chase, and sometimes that can help you out. But yeah, it's still good to have that clean track and kind of go into qualifying mode. You can kind of just, it's like put down hot laps. You get into your rhythm, and that's exactly what you want to do. But yeah, good run so far here. Good recovery after that technical issue for Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, and I think that he's one of the quicker guys on the track right now. Devin Jack ran about 0.4 faster than Chris Smith that last time around, and DeWeese was not far behind. So again, I think Chris is probably just in cruise mode here. Jacob Phillips is a little bit slower than everybody, but he's not slow enough that I think DeWeese is going to catch and overtake him unless he makes a mistake or whatever. So Deweese doing a good job holding on to that P4, and he really probably needs to start thinking about Ellis Thomas behind him, because I think Ellis is closer to Deweese than Deweese is to Phillips. So Thomas a little bit slow there through the right-hander, but yeah, all these guys just trying to hold on to the cars to the end. Hope that the other one makes a mistake around them that they can capitalize.
Oh, we got a issue for Robert Probst here. He spun out of turn 1 here. He did, James Danforth finally caught back up to him. I wonder if maybe there is a little payback here.
Looking at the replay, Robert just gave it too much juice coming out of the chicane, and the car snapped to the slid to the right and then snapped to the left. So kind of the opposite thing that happened to Danforth earlier in the race, where you're just trying to hold on to that position and just give it a little too much gas. Those tires sometimes don't like that.
Yeah, unfortunate for Robert, but hey, no damage. Kept it out of the wall, got it back going, and now he's once again trying to hold on for dear life to stay on the lead lap. Chris Smith is right behind him, coming into the last turn here.
Yeah, Robert's done a good job, though. Again, he's still hanging on to that P7. Oh, sorry, no, he is now down into P9. My timing just updated, so yeah, Robert's got to find some pace. Maybe he could, once Chris gets by, he can try and follow him. Usually that's what I do. If I'm behind oh, yeah, there he goes. He's totally sideways over the curb. So now he's P9, drags a bunch of gravel onto the grass. But what I was saying was if you have a fast leader come by, sometimes it's advantageous just to let them by even quicker and then try and follow them. Usually there's things that the leader are doing that you're not doing and that you can pick up, whether it's acceleration, braking, lines. The best way to get quicker or better at anything is really to follow someone who's doing it very well. So Chris Smith would have been a good barometer for Robert to follow, but just couldn't hold on to the car there coming out of the chicane. Now he's got Devin Jack behind him.
Fell back just probably a little bit too much to be able to really gauge himself off of Chris. But yeah, Devin has, it looks like, caught up to Chris a little bit. We'll try to bring up our battle box, see what it says. Still says similar pace, but I mean, he's up to, or down to 9, just under 9, or just over 9 seconds behind. Definitely too late in the race, but Devin's still showing some speed. And yeah, without a mistake, pretty much locked into second place. But
yeah, I'm looking at this battle here for third position. So you got Phillips still holding on, and he just got by 2 lap cars of the 31 and the 14 of Randy Gross and Lee Campbell, respectively. Deweese now has to go under both of them. 14 and 31 make a little contact
right here as they're getting lapped by the second and third place cars here side by side, still down into the carousel here. Looks like the 31's going to edge ahead. That was definitely a bit of a moment for the 8, though. Like, what do you do? There were 3 wide down the front stretch, and yeah, everybody made it through clean, though.
Yeah, great job for the 31 and the 14 to keep those cars in one piece and allow their battle to continue. And then they've got to worry about Ellis Thomas and Laura Wiseman coming here in a minute. But now this gives Deweese a free run at the 56. So Deweese currently is about 4 seconds off of the... Actually, I think it's even closer than that. I think my timing's off a little bit here.
Yeah, just under 2 seconds is what it's looking
like
ahead to Jacob Phillips, and yeah, we'll see.
So look real close there. I think Deweese is going to catch him by the end of the race.
I think he will too. It's going to be a nail biter for third place, final podium position.
I know those 56 fans watching at home and hanging out in the chat. That's the last thing they want to see is points leader Deweese right behind him. And we know that Deweese, we were just talking about every point matters, and Deweese is going to know this. And plus, you have that the prestigiousness wherever that comes along with the third place. You get the podium interview, you get your name on the rostrum. So there is definitely many extra incentives here for the 8 to try and get by the 56 here. And we got we're on lap 37. We got 41 laps in this race, so we got 4 laps to go. I think he can do it. He's just got to be perfect. And that last lap, DeWeese was only about 0.2 slower, but I think that's because of those lap cars. So I think this one he's going to make more progress. But we'll see. Yeah, he's right there with the 56. The 56 is not far ahead.
We'll see when this updates what our battle box projects. It should do it right after the line here, but he has took a huge chunk out of that lead that Phillips has. Yeah, it's still saying 45 lap. I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
I
that's
think he's
1.5
be there
seconds.
in the next lap or two.
Yeah, DeWeese was a half second faster on that lap, so that puts DeWeese in striking distance at the conclusion of this race. So I think he'll probably catch him on the last lap or the penultimate lap, and we're going to see what kind of lunge he might attempt here to see if he can go for that P4 or that P3 position. Now the other problem is that you have Ellis Thomas and Laura Wiseman who are not far behind. So if DeWeese does try something crazy and does spin, then he could even lose more positions than that.
Yeah, it's very true. That battle has kind of died off a little bit with Ellis and Laura. Ellis has pulled away a little bit, but now he is catching that battle we saw earlier with the lap cars of Randy Gross and Lee Campbell. They are still going at it. A little bit of a gap now, but the battle that just will not quit here late in the race.
Yeah, and that's for some accolades as well as the they're fighting over a top 10 spot. So last time by, it looked like 31 had the spot, but now crossing the line, the 14 will have taken over that 10th spot. So really whoa, the 31 totally sideways into turn 1, and the 31 is going to go completely around. That's going to almost certainly guarantee that 10th spot for that 14.
Yeah. Hey, at least he was able to keep it out of that inside wall. We've seen a few cars hit it when they kind of overcooked the brakes down in the turn 1. So, hey, just a lazy spin, got spun around, and hey, he's gathered it back up. And now, hey, I mean, with a mistake from Lee, he could still get his top 10, but right now it's looking pretty good for that number 14. Nick DeCesare up here bringing some heat to the 88 of James Danforth. These guys have been involved in battles all night long as well. Nick DeCesare right now being our biggest mover of the race, up 7 positions from where he started, and looking to make it 8 here in the final couple laps.
Yeah, what a great run for DeCesare. I feel like we weren't really talking about him that much, but he has found his way into the top 8, and he's looking for a top 7, which is kind of insane, being that he did start 15th. So good job for him keeping it on the island. Obviously has shied away from incidents. Oh, 88 smokes the right front going into turn, I think it was 7 there, and he's got the 00 all over him.
Yeah, a bit of a moment there, but hey, didn't lose too much. Definitely going to have to keep an eye on this battle, as well as the battle for third, which looks like it died off a little bit. Jacob Phillips pulled back out to about a 2-second gap. And yeah, definitely going to keep an eye on that. You see the 88 sideways again. 00 might get a run down into turn 1 here.
I think if I was the 00, this again, that turn 1 is so hard to make a pass. Good job by both of them to get through there relatively cleanly. Yeah, and you can see both their cars, they just have them hooked up. There was no sliding, no nothing. They went through the corner perfectly fine, good lines, good entries, and good exits too. So they're both really at the top of their game right now as these laps wind down. But you'd have to say the advantage is with the 00 in terms of the speed advantage. But you got to make the move. You know, we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, you'd rather have the track position. And if you're in that pursuing spot, really the only thing you can do is put the car in a position where if the car in front of you makes a mistake, that you're ready to capitalize.
I'll tell you what, we're coming down to the final couple of corners here for Chris Smith. As this battle still goes on, they're going to get another lap to settle it. But Chris Smith is coming through these final S's, coming into the last turn. He's going to come down the front stretch to claim the win of the Rose City Grand Prix. Here at Portland, Chris Smith wins it.
Wow, I mean, we didn't talk about him too much this race. We expected, based on qualifying, for him to have more of a challenge, but he just absolutely, I guess if we had a verb, is it Aaron Smith the field here? Is that, can we say that? I mean, that was a very convincing win.
Absolutely, and we see the battle for third place. Jacob Phillips is able to hold off Braxton DeWeese right down to the end there. It looks like, yeah, Braxton really put up a lot of good times there the last couple laps. We're going to keep an eye on this battle. Yeah, it looks like Laura is going to come home 6th, caught up to Ellis a little bit at the end there. This battle with James Stanforth and Nick DeCesare for 7th place here is not ended, though. They're coming down the backstretch one more time.
Yeah, I've appreciated these battles all throughout the field. You can tell DeCesare wants it. He's looking to the inside. Danforth made a much better entry. Oh, DeCesare, oh, he's over the curb. Oh, you can tell he went for the lunge. He runs a little wider than there at the end. So Danforth is going to hold on to that P7, but great run for both those drivers. That was entertaining to be fighting that hard with 41 laps of racing under your belt. Good job to both these drivers. Good run for both.
Absolutely. Chris Smith, though, with that dominating performance. See him cruising around here. We're going to get a word with Chris Smith in just a moment here, but first we're going to step away and hear from our partners at Whiplash SimCams. All these beautiful cameras you see me using here tonight are provided to us from them. We really appreciate it, and they do great work. We'll be right back on the other end. Right, we are back with the Rose City Grand Prix, and we're getting ready for our post-race interviews here. We're going to start out with the number 56 of Jacob Phillips, who brought it home third here with that late battle with Braxton DeWeese. Able to hold on to it, though, but yeah, Jacob Phillips coming home P3. Tell us about, man, that night, that battle, and just how you felt about racing here at Portland tonight.
Man, I I was trying so hard to hold Braxton off, and I almost gave it up to him. But I was able to hold on to it. Whew, that was a workout.
Yeah, I bet it was, man. Hey, it was pretty exciting to watch, man. Definitely sweating it out there, and yeah, man, you guys had a great battle there up front all night. Started up in the I think in the top 5, right? Stayed up there
Yeah.
in a few spots, and yeah, just I know you've talked to me a little bit about kind of just seems like you're always doing road course races, but man, it's definitely paying off with third place finish.
Yeah, man. This was number 6 in the last week and a half. Between SRL, Road and Plate, shout out Dustin, and a couple other things. It's been a busy week and a half, but you know, this is kind of cool. cap off the end of my road course run here for a little bit, wind up with a podium.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, it was definitely an incredible run. Good to see. And, yeah, I mean, how you feeling going into the final half of the season here? Think you can climb up through the grid a little bit and challenge for some maybe top 5, top 3 position?
Yeah, I feel like this is a good turning point, right at the halfway mark. Kind of had a steady first half of the season after having to rebound from Daytona, but just trying to stay consistent. So hopefully I can keep it consistent going forward and keep on clicking off positions. Try to push for more top 5s and more podiums.
Well, we hope to see it. Hopefully we get to see you up here next week. Before we let you go, the floor is yours. You have a lot of fans in the chat, by the way. The floor is yours for any shout-out, sponsors, friends, family, anybody at home watching. Have at it.
Yeah, man. First of all, I want to shout out Slingshot Racing League. It's a great community, great group of people to be a part of. Slingshot Media, or Slingshot Racing Media, Slingshot TV, everything you guys do week in and week out, put on the broadcast, not just for Monday nights, but for Wednesday nights and the other series y'all do as well. Yeah, y'all put on quality content week in and week out, and it's very much appreciated. Shout out the Autism Awareness Foundation. Heyman Jack Margaritas, new hood sponsor, and coincidentally enough, I'm drinking one right now as we speak. Good lord. All the Dark Side Gamers guys, Cameron Ellis, Matt, John, Dave, all those guys who show up and support not just me, but everybody from Payday Racing. Appreciate the support from all those guys. Shout out all my teammates from Payday. I think Chase was the only other one that showed up tonight. But yeah, shout out to all those guys. And I'm gonna shout out Dustin Bawley. Sir, I think you need to come back into the booth more often. Dustin can take a longer vacation. Your first race in the booth and a podium. So take that.
I appreciate the shout out as the good luck charm. You did great tonight, Jacob. We knew from qualifying, just we saw your time and that you were on pace, and so we're glad that you were able to pull off a podium here tonight. It was a great run.
I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, that is tonight's third place finisher, Jacob Phillips, at number 56. Once again, a great run from Jacob, and yeah, hey, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Johnny.
All right, up next, Dustin, I believe you got caught up with Devin Jack.
Yeah, Devin Jack, this is Dustin and Johnny up in the booth. You got us?
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Well, congratulations on your P2. I know probably after qualifying you were hoping that you were going to be a bit closer to the 28. We saw throughout the race that you were able to click times off that were, at the time quicker than the race leader. And your best lap was actually almost a half second faster than everyone around you. What happened during the race that prevented you from killing everyone and dominating tonight?
I don't know. Worst enemy tonight. Blowing corners. I spun into turn one at one point and just braking too hard. They were fun to figure out the track halfway in. That was where that fast lap came from. But by that point, it was way too late to make up the difference.
Oh yeah, so I guess we missed the spin on the broadcast. So
That's good.
Okay, so because obviously you've run this track a number of times before. Were you? I'm assuming you weren't practicing for this all week.
I only run this once before in Road and Plate. I don't think I've touched this track beyond that up until yesterday. I put in like 15, 20 practice laps, call it a day, because I had other things going on. Probably should have ran more, because if it took me another 20 to figure it out, I could have done that yesterday and maybe hit a bit more pace.
What do you think of your pit strategy, both with the timing of the stop, because you seem to stop before a lot of your contemporaries, and also taking the left side tires. You think that was the right call?
It definitely felt like it. Having the lefts, because those were burning more. You're using those in all the high-speed corners. Definitely felt like it helped, and I just waited until I was a few laps to the good on fuel, and then came in, took it, because there's no harm, no yellows coming unless something would have went really wrong. So couldn't hurt to try to undercut slightly.
So you didn't run into any major issues coming, through slower cars, I guess, on your way back up through the field.
I got to watch a dual spin in turn one. That was like those old NASCAR games with the challenges where you have to avoid cars that just spin out in front of you. That was interesting. But other than that, it was just making up time. And I screwed up enough that there was no way I was catching Chris. He was way more consistent than I was. He had that win in hand probably halfway through the race.
Yeah, well, you had the speed though, so on an alternate timeline, I think you would have had the victory tonight. But hey, after dominating, earlier in the year with Slingshot, maybe Chris Smith was owed this one. But anyway, do you have any shout outs or people you want to give thanks to before we let you go?
One of it, you for road and plate. I never would have ended up putting this much effort into road courses had I not joined that league. What, 2 years ago now? It's been running for a while.
We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary in December, so yeah.
Yeah, without that, I wouldn't have thrown nowhere near as much time into road courses.
All right. Well, hey, Devin, thanks. It's always great to see you. Hope we get to see you someday again in Road and Plate. Enjoy your second place, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That was Devin Jack, second place finisher tonight. Always really good on these road courses, and definitely Road and Plate experience helps out a lot with that. We're going to move on to tonight's winner, Chris Smith. Grab him right now. And Chris Smith, bringing it home, P1. Man, tell us a little bit about your race.
It was very eventful. First lap, almost gave the whole race away on the last corner of the first lap, and luckily I had Braxton behind me and he cut me a break, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to him for that. I definitely appreciate it, and yeah, from that point on, it was all about just not making a mistake. It's for me on a road course, that's asking a lot. This is not my comfort zone by any means, and I'm usually good for one spin or one really big moment at least every single road course race, but luckily we kept it smooth and straight the whole time out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, other than that one moment early on, you definitely put on a clinic. Man, the main thing that I'm curious about, because we may have missed some of it, but some of the lap battles, we saw you were behind Robert a little bit, and he kind of lost it into turn one. Was there any moments like that kind of had you a little worried?
Yeah, Robert and I had a couple of moments in turn one. We were talking about it just a second ago. Yeah, he was the two times that I was behind him entering one. He had a couple pretty big moments. Had some other ones where we were just catching some guys, but everybody was very, very courteous tonight, and all the lap cars were. When I was coming up behind a couple of them, they stayed pretty far off and off the racing line, and they were real courteous. But yeah, other than that, didn't have very many other moments with them. I know that maybe during some of the other battles, around second, third, fourth, they definitely had some moments. But yeah, everybody was super good tonight, and what a great racetrack here for these stock cars. This is one of my favorite road courses. It's pretty easy, just being honest, and but I think it suits stock cars really well. So it's a fun time here at Portland.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I always enjoy running it, and I'll tell you, you did a great job with it. Definitely, man, it's good to see you up front. I know you struggle with the road courses a little bit. At least Road America a few weeks ago, I think you weren't having too much fun there, right? But good to see you come back out, get the win, close in on that points lead. It looks like you're going to be about 6 points behind now of Braxton. Moving into the final half of the season, do you think you can mount that charge and try to go back-to-back on champions in the ARCA series here?
Well, we're going to give it our best shot. It's not going to be easy. You know, Braxton is a tough competitor on just about any track. So, yeah, we're going to have our work cut out for us. It is close, like you said, but there's a lot of opportunities to make up ground and some opportunities also to, you know, get ourselves in trouble. We got Talladega next week, and I enjoy running the super speedways, you know, especially in these ARCA cars. I feel like they put on the best show. They're the most fun. I think that's half the battle is, you know, going into those races with a, you know, positive mindset. And that's what we'll do next week. But we still find ourselves tore up. So hopefully we can survive to the end. And, you know, we got some good tracks. I think, you know, the rest of the schedule. I think we got Charlotte and Kansas, and, you know, those are some good tracks for us. So it's going to be a battle all the way to the end. But we're looking forward to it.
Certainly going to be exciting. And, yeah, once again, congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, now is the time for you to give us any sponsor shout-outs, friends, family at home, teammates, anything like that. Have that.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys at Slingshot TV and everybody at Slingshot TV for all their hard work, bringing all the racing action 3 nights a week. I'm sure to do appreciate you guys. Can't wait to go back and watch. Shout out to the, you know, league sponsors, UD Awards tonight. Happy to get them in victory lane. I think that the last time I got them a win was the original Slingshot Racing League. It's been a long time, so happy to get them in victory lane. Yeah, and, you know, Stand Up Fight Series, Evan Pienta Designs, Evan for designing this paint and the one you'll see Wednesday night. Thanks to him for that. Randy for the race control. All the league admins, you know, you, Robert, everybody, Scotty for all their hard work. If mom and dad are watching at home, shout out to them. And I would be, you know, remiss also if I did not say anything about Jacob Phillips bringing home a podium tonight. Great run for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And man, yeah, great run. Yeah, great job with the shout outs. We appreciate the kind words. And yeah, we'll see you next week at Talladega.
Sounds good. Y'all take it easy.
That was tonight's winner, Christopher Smith. And we're going to move into our race results here. We'll run through these. We just talked to the top 3, Chris Smith, Devin Jack, and Jacob Phillips. 4th place, just couldn't get it done to get back up on the podium after that hardware issue for Braxton DeWeese. And that number 8, Ellis Thomas. 5th place, Mr. Consistency this season so far. And definitely has made a huge improvement on the road courses here lately. Good to see that 38 up to 5th. Laura Wiseman, one of our rodent platers, coming home 6th, just behind Ellis, almost into the top 5. We saw that battle all night long. It's a lot of fun to watch that other battle with James Danforth and Nick DeCesare coming right down to the end. And yeah, it was incredible to watch as well. Robert Breps is going to be the first car 1 lap down in 9th with Lee Campbell in 10th.
And then we got our final 6 finishers there. 31 was knocking on the door of that P10, but spun there at the end, so Randy Gross comes home 11th. Steve Vest in 12th, Paul Thomas in 13th, Aiden Neese, who was running as high as 7th before hit that inside wall in turn 1, so he only comes home 14th tonight. Chase Berry, who left pretty early, certainly expected Chase to be in the top 10, if not the top 5, so 15th is obviously a disappointment. And then rounding out the field is the 44 of Patrick O'Toole.
Yeah, a great race through and through, and we'll take a look now at our point standings. Yeah, as I mentioned, Chris Smith has gained quite a bit there. He's only 6 points behind Braxton DeWeese now. Ellis Thomas, with those consistent runs, has put himself into 3rd place, and that great run tonight from Jacob Phillips puts him in 4th. James Danforth and Nick Cesare fighting for that 5th spot. Only 1 point separates those two. And you still see all throughout the top 10 and 12, the battle is tight, and really, if you think about it, only 100 points after 6 races, all the way back to 18th with Laura Wiseman, who I believe has missed a race. And yeah, I mean, it's a really tight field here, and we're excited to see how it's all going to shape out over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think Rye Jones missing tonight, because Rye Jones after the round 5 was in 3rd place, and so Rye Jones leaves Portland in 10th. So that was a big shakeup there in the top 10 in points there.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and yeah, unfortunate. Hey, I mean, he came out swinging in this season, won the first race, but yeah, I think he's missed a couple now, and yeah, it's definitely showing. But hopefully he gets back out there and gets after it next week. Tries to rebound a little bit and maybe fight for a top 5. Going to look at what we have coming up next. Well, really, we have Wednesday night. We'll be at Darlington with the Stand Up Fight Cup Invitational Series here, right here on Slingshot TV. That's going to be a lot of fun to partake in and watch. And then Thursday night, I think this week is the start of the new series that Ellis and Chris are doing, so keep an eye out for that. I did not make the graphic for it, so I'm sorry, but as far as our ARCA schedule goes, after this we have Talladega, 53 laps there, and another off week. We head to the high banks of Michigan, and then Charlotte for our Crown Jewel and Throwback race. One thing that we do here in Slingshot Racing League is that our throwback winners get a custom poster with their car on it, and it's a pretty cool thing that Ellis kind of puts together. And yeah, hey, super popular thing, something you can hang on the wall. And looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing what everybody brings out for their throwback paint jobs. And we got Pocono, Bristol, and Kansas rounding out the season. It's going to be exciting all the way down to the wire. With that said, Dustin, before we go, you got any final remarks after after seeing this race here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap it all up, I mean, it was really Chris Smith's night, and so he, his pole position time was not that far ahead of Deweese. They were both within a tenth of a second, but Chris just really put a beating on the field. You heard Devin Jack there. Devin obviously had the speed. He qualified 3rd. But just it sounded like it just took him a little bit of time to figure the track out. And he had the fast lap by a half second. Usually the guy who has the fast lap by that much really comes home the winner. So you have to give it to Chris of his ability to just drive smooth, keep the thing between the lines, and do what needs to be done to take the win. Deweese obviously lost a bunch of points, not a bunch, but enough that it probably annoyed him a bit leaving here with only a 6-point advantage versus the 17 that he had. So we'll see. I mean, obviously we have a bunch of races left. That battle's going to intensify. They might even come together at some point. And that kind of high stakes drama is always good for a league. And then your feel good story tonight's probably Jacob Phillips, who really, I mean, knowing where Jacob usually runs, for him to run as good as he did, and that's as good as a win tonight for him. So really, really good night for the 56 camp.
Absolutely. And hey, we do appreciate you stepping in, filling in for Justin this week. I definitely appreciate that. Kind of late notice, but hey, thanks,
Always.
All right, well, with that said, for Dustin Boley in the Slingshot TV booth, this has been Johnny Rapp, and we will see you next week at Talladega.